Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. So in this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different again, and we're going to be looking at a bit of a meme list. So we've looked at a competitive list, we've looked at some build arounds, we've looked at some fun lists, build around certain combos. This time we're going to go for a full synergy style list with a subpar theme. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to trying it out. The question is, will it be successful? So I've called the list the Fortress because what we're going to do is build around fully static units. So we've got a Sentinel in there, we've got the Bulwark, which is immobile once it's moved, we've got Ursic's Neck Divine, which can't move again, and then on top of that we've got things like Beatrice Enforcer as a sort of a shield unit, and the Aegis Defense Dome, which while it can move, doesn't offer much in terms of the battlefield. The reason we've done this is we're going to build ourselves a fortress. We want to basically keep the game going as long as possible, keep everything as safe as we can. And the way we've done so is by trying to basically pick a corner of the battlefield and staking our claim, saying, this is ours, you can't take this from me. So there's obviously some weaknesses with this. AoE is going to be a problem, hence why we've got the defense dome. People that are really mobile, there's a good chance that we can never kill a Maximus. If they just go around the corner and we haven't got Florio or Peacemaker Balam to stun them, we might just die. But the intention is make us sort of a little fortress, hole up there and try and win the game, either with something like the actual artillery themselves or Florio, that sort of thing. I did originally have this list with Zax because Zax has got the ability to move our defences, our static defences. However, looking at it and looking at the costs, this is one of the most expensive lists I've put forward so far. I don't think we're going to win any game where we play a 2-drop anything other than Beatrice if we've only got Stitching McPatchy as our 2-drop to come down there. So I've gone for Astra, try and make it a bit cheaper because we're looking at 5, 6, 6, and 5, 4, and all of these are mana intensive as well, so Cinder intensive. So I've gone for Astra to try and make it a little bit cheaper. It might just help us draw the game out a little longer. It also means if we need to, we can Peacemaker Balam, stun some crew, remove that stun, and get aggressive from that point onwards. So I'm not convinced it's going to do very well. We've got a lot of weaknesses, but let's have a go and have some fun. So ideally in the opening hand, we want to be finding something that stores the game. So Beatrice is probably the best unit we could hope for. Beatrice keeps us alive that little bit longer, maybe followed up by Torian Guardian or by Stitching McPatchy. But other than that, we don't really know what to look for. Extilior, strangely enough, is probably one of the worst things for us to face, but it does mean he has to come towards our little defense. So we've drawn Beatrice, which is good. Now let's have a look here. So Ion Storm is obviously quite powerful, especially if they're coming towards us. Stowaway and Orbital Strike are just generically massive. They're just so strong. But then Escape Hatch is really good for us. I'm torn between these two. Stowaway and Orbitals. If it was Stowaway Escape Hatch, I'd take that. Let's take Orbital, because we're going to be able to reduce the cost of things anyway, so Escape Hatch might not be as impressive, especially if it's only playing Defense Dome. But who knows. We're just going to boost morale, as is the correct thing to do, and then pass the turn. There's no line of sight on him this turn, so yeah, we'll just pass here, because we can take a couple of turns and run away. This is going to be a hard one for us. Now, the thing is, I'm almost tempted to not reinforce before we use our Maximus. Yeah, so I'm going to use Boost Morale before reinforcing, because we're actually hoping it goes on to Beatrice. But there you go. So now we can reinforce, because we want to have multiple cheaper options. So Peacemaker Balam is fine, but it's not something that's going to give us a huge amount of late game confidence. I'm going to move over here, because I think this is also difficult for Maximus to get a good angle, and we get a low chance shot over there. What I actually want to do is rotate the game up to this location, because this is easy to block off a couple of choke points. We can place a couple of units down, start making our little defense dome over there. So next turn, we're going to have 4 Cinder, so it's probably going to be Beatrice and Bulwark, or we could even Bulwark and give it haste, but I actually think we're going to try and move over here, play Beatrice in this gap, play the Bulwark over here, and start looking at working on some effects for over there. Fate Twister Tantan. Okay, so this is probably a Furia list, but Tantan's just very powerful anyway. Is this a Vortex? If that's pulling us up there, this is exactly where we want to be. So now that means we might actually be able to move further up. So we can't get a range shot off there. If we move up here, we can. So we'll just pop 29% onto that. That's fine. So here we could go for both, or we could use the Cinder for a slightly stronger defensive play. I think here's one of the few times we actually don't want to be using boost morale. I think what we want to be doing is playing Beatrice probably here for the moment. Yeah, probably here for now. And then the Bulwark over here. Because we can start moving back this way. We've got our Orbital to deal with next turn. They probably have Orbital as well, looking at the delay they've placed, or Corrosive maybe. But we can start setting up shop in this direction. So, again, Beatrice is the sort of the cornerstone of what we want to be doing here, because she's going to keep us safe from Maximus, and Fate Twister Tanton doesn't do any damage yet. So there's actually been no damage dealt this entire game so far with a turn 1 Maximus from our opponent, so this is quite impressive. They could go for the Bulwark, but again, I think they're most likely... Okay, they've gone for our Captain. Oh, this is difficult. So that's a fine location to hide, but it's not out of line of sight. Here I think is worse, because we're going to be able to just play the Bulwark and start shooting down that line. Also with Orbital, is that Cinder Infusion? Okay, so this is actually really good for us, because this is a really big Orbital strike. I'm perfectly happy with this. So the following turn we're going to have 4. Balam doesn't do much at this point, so I actually think we want to reinforce first and then boost morale. So it's Necker Hall, boost morale. It is still Balam, so we're going to have 8 next turn as it stands, so we probably do want to play it. I think we probably play... Well, actually, in fact, you know, let's just... So we want to actually move this up slightly further, because what we're going to do is move this to here, take our shot, and if we can, we're going to be killing Maximus. 65. It's a decent chance. Do we get it? It's a miss, but that's fine. We can AoE everything over here. Astra has got no real line of sight, so we can move up here and get some. It's all 0% apart from this, so we'll go for that. And then what we're going to do is put Beatrice in front of this and Peacemaker Balam just behind Beatrice, because we want Balam to be able to move forward. In fact, over here is slightly safer. So we want Balam to basically be able to move forward and stun multiple units next turn. So they've got Vortex, they can move us out of position, that's fine. If they rush our Captain, that's absolutely what we want, because we've got plenty of ways to just keep defending our Captain in future. So if they just send multiple range units this way, sure, they can deal some damage. That's fine. I mean, yeah, so their biggest attacks just missed. And the chances are they're going to start losing things over here as well. They could have even Tantoned to give them the extra hits. That's fine. But again, we're churning towards getting more orbitals, and orbital just kills Maximus at this point. They've also appeared to have trapped themselves. So this is the situation where if we had Zax, we'd be moving Zax forward to here, moving Beatrice forward here, and then vortexing in and trying to take out 2 units. But obviously we don't currently have that luxury. What we do have the luxury of is Peacemaker Balam potentially ruining 4 units turns next turn. So this is something they have not looked at. They don't know what Balam does. Oh no, is Balam trapped? See, this is something that frustrates me, because there's nowhere for Balam to move. So we can Spore Puff, but we can't reach anything. I didn't think we'd be trapped in here. And because this can't move, we actually have no way in our list of doing... So we've gone from being in a really good position to actually being in a pretty bad one. So let's boost morale. Again, so this time we're going to move Beatrice over here. We are still going to go for a range attack, the highest percentage. So that's still Maximus, but Crosshair is going to be the one we need to hit to try and get our relevant attacks off of later. I think Defense Dome is still the best bet here. They've got Vortex in 2 turns. So we kind of want to basically play something that forces them to Vortex near Balam. So we've got a range attack here. We can try and just kill Maximus, which I think is the right play. 60%. He missed last time, so this should hit. There we go. That's not how maths works, by the way, but that's just how I feel about it. So here we've actually got a really solid defensive position. Their Vortex is going to be big because they'll just pull Beatrice out of this or pull the defense stone back, something like that. But we've managed to set up the fortress. This is what we wanted to do. So if they come too close, admittedly, Peacemaker Mound does not want to be stuck, but that's fine. And this is also a pretty good setup for Necker Hall as well if we need it. So we've got armor and reducing damage by 1. So far, I don't know if we actually moved last turn. We know that Bulwark's at risk here from Crosshair. In fact, maybe that's an argument for trying to shoot Crosshair instead. Because Crosshair is going to be doing 6 damage to half of our units every turn. Well, I think that's what we do next time. Excellent. So I think then they just didn't think they could work their way through the wall. That worked out well. That was a tough situation. Again, sticking Peacemaker Balon behind there was not my finest hour. It was not ideal, but it worked. The fortress exists. We can start trying this again. So, again, Peacemaker Balon getting stuck was rubbish, but if it hadn't been stuck, we could have stunned 4 units for 2 Cinder, and then from that point onwards, I think they just stay there every turn until they Vortex some away, so I don't really know where they go from there. That was a really, really solid situation to find ourselves in. So we've got an Astra this time, so it's probably, unless that's us. It is us, but that's the other Astra. Oh, they've written the flag. This was our test paint scheme, by the way, on the Bulwark. Okay, so Cinder Infusion is going to be our pick here. Cinder Infusion's done because we have a terribly slow hand. Even for an Astra, this is not a fast hand. This is not a hand we can even make that viable. Necker Hall isn't useful, and our other 2 things are static defense. So unless this is a really heavy aggro Astra that plays like 3 1-drops straight away and just runs at us, we're in a lot of trouble. I just want to have a look at their flag as well. Oh, you can't quite turn it to see what they've decorated the flag with, which is a shame because it looks quite cool. It says Nolta? I can't quite tell. So let's boost morale. See what we're doing. Reducing Necker Hall, of course. And we're just going to move back here to make it harder to hit and end the turn. This is a really bad hand. Really bad. So, yep, that's Maximus. So, awkwardly here, we can play Necker Hall, but it's just not worth it. Okay, so reducing Bulwark is good. Honestly, I think just starting to move away from their Astra is the correct play. We're going to see if we can poke Maximus. We can. It's fine. Whatever. It's not... Stimburst. Okay, so Stimburst is great on Maximus. It's also great against what we're currently trying to do, which is just run away. I genuinely do think that like over here is the best fortress position for us, but we're kind of having to run this way. So actually, Maximus running this way is good because then we can run back this way and start setting up over here. Because they've got such powerful... Well, Stimburst is good, but Stowaway is unreal here. So the question is, if we Cinder Infusion, that takes us to 6. So we can actually play one of these as well as boost morale, even if we hit the wrong one. So that's the plan. We kind of want it to be anything other than Necker Hall, I was about to say. So we're going to move back here. I think we actually try and set up this side so that we can shoot around this. But the Bulwark is the correct play, because if we play it here, we can then move around things. So it's just right next to Astra for now. And this makes it a little bit more difficult for them to deal with. We're saving Necker Hall because we want them to invest resources into this. So wherever they move here is interesting, because if Astra moves, yeah, so we're now... I think they've forgotten we can move this. The awkward thing here is the fact they can remove stun, and we've taken stun. I didn't think of that as much. Okay, so that's hit themselves. Oh my god, yeah, they're absolutely taking us over here. So what we want to do here is basically move this way now. So we're going to shoot over here. In fact, that could have been a mistake because we could have... Okay, so let's... If we play the Sentinel, we need this to hit the Sentinel. In fact, there's not even a way of this working. We need to... I don't know how we do this at all. I think we need to stun Astra? Because if we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we could potentially take 10 damage here. So I think what we actually have to do is stun Rickety and make them come for Rickety, and in the meantime use both of our other units to try and block other things from getting to us. So this goes over here. It's not a good position for it, just to clarify that. But if we can stop them having as many options... There we go. So this makes it harder for them to move Astra into range of what they want. Our Astra can just shoot Rickety, I guess. And then move over here. Yeah, we're going to move over here. This is our turn. I don't like this position. Oh, Stim Burst, of course. So we've blocked them a bit. They can probably... Yeah, they can now just unstun here. Was that in range anyway? Please just don't backfire. It did. So we're just dead. There's nothing we can do here. They've got... Unless they've got a really low accuracy Maximus, yeah. We just got run over there. It's always a risk. We didn't get to build our fortress. We took too much damage too quickly. But that is absolutely fine. We're prepared for these things to happen. When all of our boost morales hit Neckarhall, and it's literally the least useful early game unit in our entire list, there's no going back from that. We were tooled up for a loss from probably that second boost morale on Neckarhall. I don't know if there's really much of a way of coming back. If it had gone on one of their other units, we'd have had a good shot. So it's Astra versus Extilior again. Okay, so this might work. Stitchy's good. Torian's really good. Florio's good. Nectarvine is not good. Okay, so Corrosive Reinforce good. Plink Cinder Infusion. So Plink is still not fixed. It's really good. And this is just free Cinder and free damage. Oh, I can't remember what we had. We had Florio, so I think Cinder and Plink is where we want to be. Free Cinder and free damage. And Plink is also a heal. So until it gets changed, which my last video will cover all of the details about how the changes are going to impact things. We've got no option for a range attack here, I don't believe, so we're just going to boost morale. It did reduce Stitchy McPatchy. Honestly, I don't know if it's even worth playing him, but it's free, so I guess we do. As like a defensive choice. We'll play him back here, because we're going to move up to this same location to try and set up our fortress again. So what have we got next turn? 2 Cinder, so we can't play anything next turn from this. So we're just going to keep blinking. Keep using Astra to boost morale. And this time, again, we're moving as far as we can. But this is only a 1% minus, so we'll take that 1%. Yep, we missed, that's fine. And Stitchy's going to move over here. So they haven't played anything yet, and this is when it kind of feels a bit hopeless. Extilior is just being plinked every turn. So here they're probably playing something far up if I were them. Okay, they're playing something defensive. It is Crosshair. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with Crosshair as soon as we can. We're also going to boost morale every turn. Hopefully it hits Florio, it hits Torian Guardian, also fine. Range attack here, because I don't imagine this actually gets us in range of a Crosshair. Stitchy's going to move back here, and we're actually going to just play both Florio Lancer and Torian Guardian, and try and just sort of... Let's go here should work. We don't know what their assists are actually, so let's put Torian over here, so we worry about the... Like, we can worry about the orbital if we need to. I think this is probably Corrosive Orbital, because I feel like otherwise they'd have done things by now. There are other things they couldn't use, like Lifeline doesn't matter now or anything like that. But I think this is where we need to sort of be being cautious. Next turn with 4 Cinder, we're probably just activating... Ooh, Stim Burst. Okay, Stim Burst good. It's really good in Extilior lists. So what we're probably looking at doing here is maybe just building a Torian Guardian wall over here, and then still trying to kill... So this shouldn't always crit. No, it doesn't. Okay, good. So I think we actually have to try and kill Crosshair. Is that they can place something all the way over there? That is the Ion Storm. Okay, so these are less worrying things. They've still got an ability to place something here. It is their Taurian Guardian. Okay. So if we move back here, we can move Stitchy over here. So I think I'm trying to figure out what's the best thing to try and kill here. Because we can obviously kill this over 2 turns if we need to. It's only a 4% chance to hit. Oh, this is a brutal set of turns for having damage. So we're kind of more okay with them hitting our captain than we are with them hitting our Taurian. So let's just try and make it so it's one or the other. And then I actually think we still just plink here and bombard because we can get both. And then next turn we do kill them with the bombard if we can keep it alive. They can only deal 3 damage to it easily unless they have their own... Oh no, they don't have orbital, we know that now. So this is basically a dead Crosshair. And what we need to worry about is how to get a dead Taurian, but there was no point attacking that this turn. And now this turn we can potentially deal with this if we need to. Because we can Stitchy McPatchy, we can Plink, we can heal Florio fairly easily. And obviously we might not be able to do both and this, so we're going to try and kill Taurian, but... Crosshair's going for the kill. Interesting. Then we don't have a good way of dealing with Taurian Guardian. Okay, it was a miss. That's good. We did move, so that was never going to be guaranteed crit, but any hit there is going to be pretty bad for us. This, I imagine, is just a hit and a spin. Yep, they're just dealing damage to Astra. They haven't done their melee attack yet, so I hope they don't forget that. Oh, you can tell my chair is currently having a little fit, gradually sinking. Okay, so this reduces damage by 1, but we can still kill it with the bombard, or we can bombard here and try and work down their Taurian Guardian for a turn. I think we kind of have to do this. I'm not entirely sure how the best way to do this, because we need to hit what we can kill. So bombarding here seems reasonable, because Taurian Guardian's hard to kill without doing this. So then we go for, I think, our Taurian Guardian onto theirs. So if this hits, we're in a good spot. It doesn't, we're in a bad spot. So we don't have anything else to do here, so we will just boost the morale. We're going to come back here to make it, again, harder for things to hit us. Shoot over here. We'll miss that as well. Stitchy doesn't heal enough, so we're actually in a lot of trouble. Because Florio is going to be dead. So what we need to do is find things to do with our other units to keep them alive. Florio technically has now moved. I'm going to plink Taurian Guardian. We can't keep Florio alive no matter what. We could have considered Stitchy McPatchying, which I think might have been better in hindsight, because that would have guaranteed it living, but then we couldn't have necessarily got the bombard damage off anyway. I think Stim Burst here is going to be brutal, because it might even just send Extilior over here. Oh, okay. Sure. I mean, that is the only way that it's guaranteed to kill it. It was always a maybe otherwise. So, plinking here is going to be right. We're going to have to find another way to deal with Crosshair. Oh, that miss is brutal for them, because now Extilior can't necessarily kill him. Ion Storm is fine. Oh, Stim Burst, sorry, yeah. Ion Storm's not ready yet. Yeah, get your hit in there. So I think they actually did forget to melee attack last turn. And yeah, we've got the spin. And shield. This is all fine. Taurian has attacked, I believe. So now we're at this point. We can either try and heal ourselves up, or we can start trying to deal with other things and just moving away. So we're going to reinforce here first, because this is absolutely what we need to do. So there is a world in which we boost morale. Beatrice is... Oh no, it's Neck Divine is still... okay, so we Cinder Infusion. Gain a bit of health back. I'm trying to figure out how we do this. So we can restore 3 health to ourselves, but it only buys us a turn. I think we need to hit here and just see if we can deal the damage. Okay, we did. That's good. We're going to blink first just in case Astra can get the a lucky hit and draw us an extra unit. We did. Perfect. So it's about a 1 in 3 chance. That's not too bad. The Sentinel's kind of a good draw here. But what we're going to do is we're going to play Beatrice Enforcer here. Because... oh no, we can't quite kill. In fact, though, what we can do... play Beatrice Enforcer here. Play Neck Divine here. Into the Breacher and get both our attacks off. And this then next turn puts us at the point where we can potentially plink something to death. There we go. I wanted this to try and hit Torian Guardian, but I think we need to kill Crankbait first. Crankbait's probably going to pull Extilior actually, which is very bad for us because that kills almost everything instantly. But they have to see that line. Again, I think this is all fine. We don't care about our captain taking damage. If they see the line of Extilior and pulling it with Crankbait, we're in trouble. Because that would actually be... I don't know if... I suppose playing Switchback's always good. But yeah, so we can kill Crankbait next turn. I think what we actually do is try and kill it with melee units and try and just move out of this to try and keep things safe. So we'll move Astra over here. Beatrice wants to be protecting the Neck Divine because Neck Divine can't actually defend itself and it's going to be getting crit by Crosshair every time. And we'll start poking at Crosshair, I think. Oh, it's just got multiple shields. Oh, okay, that was just a waste of time then. We're going to be gaining 2 health there. Let's gain an extra 1. We'll play our Sentinel here. This is our Flechette launcher, so it doesn't actually benefit us to do anything right now. So we just reinforce. So I imagine they're going to try and kill this, but this leaves us in a position where we can start... Oh, it's just out of range. I should have looked at that. I thought I was placing it in range, but I wasn't. So again, their Ion Storm is always going to be good against us, but we're now at a point where we can start really just shoring up our defences and trying to stay alive every turn. So this thing covers a really good angle. So if I were them, I think it would probably actually be Neck Divine I'd have to try and focus on here, but Neck Divine's got the Torian buff. They could just go for a Commander, which is another valid option. But also, this launcher is going to be damaging them every turn now. Who do we get? We've got Peacemaker Balam, so we can start stunning things. Splitting up's a good plan. That's good on their part to choose that. If they move Crosshair down here, they can... like, Crosshair needs to die, basically. Oh, are they not in range? That's going to be difficult for them. Okay, so... I don't think they realise that this isn't going to kill them. Has this got 1 or 2 shields? It's got 2. So we need to deal 1 extra damage on top of ours next turn. So, Torian Guardian doing great work there. Okay, so Crosshair is going to be an issue, but I think we just have to go for a bit of board control here. See what we can do. I think we're in a reasonable sort. We've got Neckerhall, Defense Stone, Bulwark left. So, okay, Jailbreak being in is frustrating, so we'll just have to punch Jailbreak here. That's all we can do. Hopefully miss the 2 back. Yes, he did. Okay, so can we get... yeah, so Astra can come over here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to Flechette this way because it only reduces damage by a certain amount. Plink, and then see if we can get the Astra draw again. 30%, we do. Perfect. So then we're going to boost morale. Beatrice is actually going to come over here and just start punching Stitchy McPatchy. Not Stitchy McPatchy. I think now we actually want to save our Cinder for next turn and start playing things that affect the board a little bit more. Here they are in a difficult spot because we've got so much more on the board, but theirs hits harder. So this is going to be a big spin for them. But I think this is where they start to fall apart because they're going to want to kill our Nectar Bloom. Nectar Vine, rather. Torian Guardian is going to make that slightly difficult. Yeah, so they need to... if they could try and kill that... Okay, so Jailbreak running away is a good start for us. Yeah, that spin is 9 damage, which is disgusting, but there is still a chance that they miss this if they attack. Switchback is going for it as well. Okay, so Switchback's done that. That's fine. I think we're still in a good spot here. Hang on, did Switchback heal from something? I thought... Oh, maybe he had protection. That could be it. So my question now is it worth just trying to gun them down? Because we've got a lot of damage potentially coming their way. Taurian Guardian can just kill Jailbreak, so I think that's probably correct. So we're just going to come here and do that. Which is perfectly sensible. We're going to Flechette Launcher... Okay, so Beatrice is going to want to attack and then move. Over here. Potentially, if we're lucky, get that buff. No, not quite. So we can Flechette both here. This is good. And then I think we're back into our usual game plan of grind down the opponent's units. Can we? We can play our Bulwark and then into the breach here, I believe. So yeah, we can do either way. So let's just reduce the cost of something. Hopefully it's the Bulwark. It is. Where is our haste rangers there? So I'm going to play that into the breach and get a 68% shot off. Is this going to do it? It missed. Of course it did. We will, however... Yeah, let's just reinforce here. Peacemaker Baron is better with a surprise. Let's just range attack here. Move over here. Move. And that will have to do. So again, I feel like we're in a good spot. Extilior is going to want to come over here, but at the moment he can't. And I think we're in a good spot. So here we do have to start probably just focusing down Extilior himself. He can get in range of both of our static defenses, but again, if they're ignoring things like this, they probably kill the Sentinel this turn. But then they're going to lose that next turn. Most likely, their Switchback. Yeah. So again, this actually having armor means it's not dead. It's only going down to 1. Unless you get a crit. Yeah, it's lived. So now they're going to want to move. Backwards, obviously. But we're just going to send everything we can into Extilior. Shield himself. That's an aggressive movement. I don't think we can quite get in range there with Beatrice, so that's probably what they were aiming for. Oh, we can. Okay. So Beatrice just smashes here. We will Flechette in this direction. We're just going to fully just focus Extilior now, try and burn him down. We're actually going to defense dome everything as well. Try and block him in place. Which also means that if we heal this and place this Taurian Guardian over here, there is a very reasonable chance that they can never actually get to our important units. So this to me looks like a dead Extilior next turn. They can spin. This should in theory deal 1 damage here. And then they can hit, which shouldn't deal any. Yep. So without a crit, this doesn't even die. Yeah. I don't know where they go from here. If I were them, I would concede. I think we've just got too much damage pushing onto Extilior. In fact, he's probably just dead next turn. Quetzali can help. Quetzali can get them running away. This isn't untenable. They give us, yeah, minus accuracy. I mean, accuracy doesn't matter here, so all we need to do is get 1 hit onto Extilior. So we're just going to have to see how this goes. Yeah, so there we go. Blink. And get our Flechette going. You just make sure, just for the sake of it, doesn't hit our own captain. There we go. So that was another good game. So our fortress was sort of did exist around here. It actually worked kind of well. Neck Divine was a bit of a difficult thing for them to deal with. Overall, I'm quite happy with that list. 2-1. The game we lost was about what we'd expect. So yeah, happy. Enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to be looking at doing something similar to this again in the future. We've leveled up our account mastery. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts on that, anything you think we should have done differently, any more things you think can build up that defensive wall, or do you think there should be a bit more offense in there as well, let me know. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe. It really does improve my mood every time I see it. I love seeing it every single time. And have a good day.